Hey, it's Jen. I've got another movie of the day post for you. Today's mod is all about rolling out your feet. So we're doing this for our kinetic health. I'll explain that in a minute. I just want to point out we do need tools for this exercise. Some sort of a therapy ball or a lacrosse ball, which is what this is. This is also a ball that you could use under your feet. That's actually probably better because of the smaller size, since we're working a small area. And it actually has these nubs, which are of additional benefit. So one or the other, or something similar, at the very least a tennis ball. But if you haven't taken my advice from several times before to have some sort of a set of therapy ball along with a band and a small towel to keep it as sort of a kit inside your desk drawer, and have another set that's easily portable, at home, you could take with you on travels, please do so. But the lacrosse ball is very versatile. It's a pretty good weight and density as well for other areas of the body. So we'll go ahead and demonstrate with the lacrosse ball today. And the reason why we're rolling out the feet, okay, it's mostly for your what's called your kinetic health. So we talk about the kinetic chain all the time. So when it comes to the feet, we have these lines of fascia that go all the way up from your hips down to crossing under the feet. So if you have something that's injured or kinked up or tight up here, high on the hip, or your knees, your ankles, it'll definitely affect the feet, and vice versa. So we want to work a little bit deeper and more intentional with the therapy ball versus just getting like a home foot massager that feels good, and it's helping with circulation, a little bit of tension relief, but it's not actually helping to break up that any sort of tension and tight spots where you're working into the fascia and rehydrating that fascia, bringing it back to its normal cushy shape and state. So we're going to be very intentional with this. If you don't have the time, which would be about 5 to 7 minutes on each foot, you don't have the time or the inclination, I'm going to first show you a quick and dirty method that's still very helpful, about 2 minutes on each side, that you could bookend either at the end or front of your workout, especially on days where you're doing a lot of lunges or squats, so that you could at least help with the mobility aspect of your feet and legs. So one caveat or one word of warning: I don't know if you've ever gotten a Chinese foot massage. They're very popular in LA. I love them, but it is the most excruciating pain that I have ever experienced besides childbirth. And I keep going back to it, not the childbirth, but the foot massage, because even though it's painful during that time, you're walking on air for like 2 days. And again, it's because not only because you had a foot pain that was local because of bad shoes, or even a direct local injury to the foot, whether it's your bones or tendons. It really is that kinetic health that we're talking about. The fact that your feet affect so much of your body. There's nerve endings down there that affect your entire body. So it's not just about the fact that the feet are literally the foundation of your body, and that it does a lot of work. It's the kinetic health that's key in this. So the pain is something that you might experience, and we're going to take this as an opportunity in order to learn what's good pain versus bad pain. Most of the time I've shown you these mobility drills and said that use the feel good cue as your marker, for whether you should do it or not do it. Well, in this case, we're going to again take this opportunity. We're going to take this as a learning opportunity to figure out how to distinguish between good pain and bad pain, and work through the good pain. And the key to this is your breath. So it's similar to when you're learning to be flexible with the static stretches. You don't want to find yourself where you're tensing up and holding your breath. You want to be able to not only take a deep breath in and then exhale into that pressure, but you want to be able to, at the very least, breathe normally, okay? if you're holding your breath and you're clenching, then that's your cue to back off and work a little bit with less tension, or come back to that area in particular, because we're working the feet, which is not, a big area of the body to begin with, but we're working the feet a little bit at a time. So remember that we're taking this as a learning opportunity. All right, so I'm gonna have to take you to the floor and show you. The first thing we're going to do is get on one knee, and this is for the quick and dirty method. So, and that's one way, whether you're standing or sitting or on the knee, that's one way to modulate the pressure. Okay, so I'm gonna take off my shoes, and this is the one where, oh, I'm sorry, before we do this, for every time you stretch out your feet, you want to ease into it first by stretching at the big toe. So place your ball under the big toe and lean into it to get that gentle stretch going. So do that for about 10 seconds at a time, 5-10 seconds at a time, a few times. And then once you've got your foot warmed up, so it's not a shock, to put a local pressure on it, we're going to take this ball under the fleshy part of the arch, and we're going to go in two directions. We're going to go up and down, and then back and forth crosswise. So this is kind of a quick and dirty shear force method. We're going to break up that fascia by going in the perpendicular direction in both ways. So the pressure, again, you could control whether you're standing up into it and putting your additional weight, or you could be down here. And what you want to do here is just go back and forth really quickly. You could hold on to your shin here for that control, because it's very small, quick movements. So a minute in each direction, okay? And you could go ahead and move it around a little bit, very quick, and you should feel that pressure, and it should feel horrendously good, or just feel good. Then we're going to go into the different techniques. The first thing is we want to just, the part where we're taking our time, the first thing is we want to stand up, and if you're uncomfortable about standing up and having a ball under the foot, you could either hold on to the wall or the back of a chair, and if it's all of that is difficult, then you could stay seated, and that really takes off some of the weight and protects you from unnecessarily shocking with your full body weight by accident. So place the foot, you could think about splitting your foot into halves or thirds both ways, so that you are working through each area of the foot. But the first thing is we're just going to go ahead and use the big circular motions just to increase the circulation and further warm up the feet. So this is, kind of free form, okay? And you could kind of experiment with what it feels like to put weight on it. You could have your heel down, okay, for control, or your toe down. So one end of the foot having contact. So this should be, fairly slow, and concentrate into the areas that feel tight. Then we're going to actually do compression. So kind of like a trigger point therapy, we're going to find your fleshy spots. We're not going over your bones. We're going to go over your fleshy parts, and then find a place to concentrate that weight on it for about 10-15 seconds, and then release. So we're compressing and releasing, okay? So once you go through that technique, then we want to go into that shear force technique, where we're going to go across the foot like this, again in very small tiny moves, but with pressure. And just doing this standing up, oh, this feels horrendously good. One more time. So back and forth fairly quickly, and then just move the ball around just a little bit at a time, and continue on for another couple of minutes, working all around that foot. Now, the last one is probably one of my favorite techniques or feelings ever, what we're going to do is pick a spot one more time to put a very fixed pressure on it. So in this case, you're going to press down on it, keep everything super still, the ball very still. Then we're going to pin that even further by curling our toes over it and pressing into it even more. And then at that point, we're going to then flare and stretch as much as possible. So you're getting an even deeper pressure and stretch at this point. And you could do it in the controlled fashion, where you're going and holding that stretch for about 10-15 seconds, even up to 30 seconds. Or you could pin it and then be more dynamic about flexing and flaring, pointing, flexing over it. So don't forget to move it around to other areas of the feet. Okay, so even though this will probably provide some relief for plantar fascia, remember this is not the fix for plantar fascia. There's a stretch that I've shown before for the fixed portion of it. So anyway, give this a try. I know it's like 5 to 7 minutes, but you could do it in front of the TV while you're watching TV, although I never recommend doing that for exercises where you need control and focus, and you do need control and focus, but doing that will be better than not. So give it a go. This is Jung signing off, reminding you to start where you are, do what you can, use what you have, and move something.